Hello, welcome. This tutorial is going to be a step-by-step guide for a beginner how to make the triangular box braid or the triangle shaped pattern. So I made this triangle knotless box braid, knotless triangular braids on my client using a coily hair extension. So if you want to see how to create the triangle, how to use coily hair extension, just all those good stuffs, you are at the right place. So this was what we ended up with. I am going to tell you like some challenges you might come across in the triangular braids and how to start. So most triangular braids, in the research I did before starting this hair, they always started off with 3 triangles at the back and the next one 5. But when we started the hair, we had concerns about the quantity of braiding hair we had, so I had no intention of making the hair full at all. So that was why I opted this technique I used here, where it's 5 braiding hair at the back. I saw from Dope Ass Panna's channel. This is how she starts her knotless braid. She makes 5 at the back, and the sectioning, instead of making it like lower down behind the ears, she takes it higher. Then the second line cuts like from on top of the ear, to the other side, instead of 3 lines where you have 3 triangles at the back, another line with 5 triangles before you get to the top of the ear. So she uses just 2 lines before the top of the ears, starting with 5 braids at the back. Then 5 braids at the back. Then the next step she uses 7 braids. But because I had no intention of making this hair, I was panicking that it wasn't going to be like, I just wanted one pack of our braiding hair to be enough. So my second stage was 5 triangles. If that is not a concern for you and you're not trying to make your hair scanty, then you should absolutely make sure you get 7 triangles in the second line by just still following the process I did. But instead of widening the middle triangle in the next step, you make it, you will see how I adjusted everything to make sure it suited the situation I was braiding at that moment. So for the first line, I made a line at the middle of her okay, after parting from ear to ear, I made a line from the middle of the nape of the neck at the back, so that I would get that perfect triangle, the first one that is already done that you can see. So when that one was okay, from where it ended, I just went straight up to shear the rest of the hair into 2 triangles on the left hand, straight up to shear into 2 triangles on the right hand side. So I am braiding the third triangle on my left hand side. So that's just it. It's quite simple. Just make sure you get every single step. From what I noticed in her video, every section, every row you move into, start the triangle from the middle triangle of the previous row. You're going to see when I section her hair from ear to ear again, I am going to try to get the middle triangle right. Then from there, from the middle to the right towards her face, then from the middle to the left towards her face. So that middle triangle is going to be like a guide to make sure that when you raise the hair up, once the middle is, I don't know, when I was towards the back, I was making sure the triangle is right at the middle. See, just ignore this coily, slippery ass braiding hair. I had to re-knot that, because despite knotting it like 8 times, I noticed that it started like loosening up and just relaxing too much, so I had to knot it again. And this was how I knotted it this second time. 3, 4, 5, 6 knots. 6th one was a knot, 7th one was a knot, 8th one was a knot. So I wrapped it around 5 times and then knotted it 4 times. Like, can you imagine? So for the triangles, this is just completing that row. So as I was saying, when I was braiding the back of the head, I was making sure that the triangles were perfect at the back of the head. But when I got towards the top section of the hair, I started making sure that the triangles that showed towards her face, I don't know if it can be perfect enough here, all your triangle will come out perfectly aligned. There is a point that, see, okay, for this second row, you can see what I did. I've shared it exactly into two to help me make the triangle, and I just follow this line. Make sure it's aligning with the line from the row below. So just like that, align it with the line align the lines with the line of the triangle below. That way, see, if it doesn't join together, if those lines don't join together, if those lines do not meet as if they were created at the same time, it will mess up your distance. So just see, I made sure the middle triangle is set. Make a line straight down the middle, then add from the edge of the triangle towards your center line, from the end of the triangle on the other side towards your center line. That's going to give you your perfectly fit triangle on top of the previous one. Once you get this middle one right, you can start following the line. You will see what I'll do after this. So this middle one is set. No, I had to make sure that line looks as if it was continuous from the previous line. Once it's set, I just like to braid it. Once I am perfectly sure, once I am 100% sure that that triangle is in the right position, sometimes I just braid it down to make sure that nothing confuses me, like it's set. I am sure it is set. After that, I try to pre-section the hair to have an idea of what I am doing. Don't just close your eyes and believe that everything is okay, because you're going to shock yourself. So just pre-section the triangles out. You see what I am doing? From the middle, I am working my way towards her face, and I felt as if that section was too slim, so I am just adding more. This is a beautiful guide. Just follow the vibe from the middle and pre-section. Please pre-section your triangles. I don't know how confident you have to be in yourself. If you're not confident from experience of doing this over and over again, please just pre-section your triangles. You understand? If not, when they raise your hair, some of the triangles will be looking like rectangles. So I have worked from the middle to her face. I will go to the other side and repeat the same thing. From the middle triangle, follow the pattern from the line underneath and just walk towards the face. So for the next line, of course, I just sectioned the roll. And as I told you, the first time I started, I was more concerned with the back, right? But when I got to the top of her head, I became more concerned with the triangle showing on her side, on her face. So I no longer started from the middle. I just followed the pattern from the previous row, close to her face. I need that place to be on point. At this top section, if the back is messed up, see, I would rather have the sides looking flawless. If what you can see, I would have that side looking flawless, now that I am at the side of her face. So I just use the lines from the previous row as a guide and just continue my triangle, making sure that those lines kiss. Those lines must kiss at that point. That is what is going to make your triangle braids look good. Oh, my line is a little bit wonky. You know, when you get to the edges, it can just get a little bit tricky because you're not going to grab the whole edge into the section, or the person might not have like filled well aligned edges. Just do what you have to do. Sometimes the very first triangle is going to look like a triangle that was chopped into two, and that is fine because our edges are edges. They are at the edge. They are not inside of the hair. They are not perfectly lined, except for a few people. Even at that, whatever, take out the edges if you have to. Do not braid all of them. But if those edges, see, my triangle has divided into two. we are doing the best that we can do, and that is what we have to do. We have to do our best. So a knotless braid, you can see how I am doing that. I got over it. Let's keep going. So from here, before I get to the middle, I would stop, go over to the other side and get it right also. Like, I didn't move all the way from here, like until I got to her face on the other side. No, I didn't do that. I went over to the other side and started coming in towards the middle. So if there was any confusion going to happen, and just as I expected, the triangles had to get smaller to be able to lap over the previous triangles in the middle. So you will just notice some adjustments. Let it don't be towards the face. Okay, I don't know if I filmed all that confusion, but the triangles, because I was trying to make it like lay directly over the previous one, they got smaller than my regular section. See, there is a spirit with these triangular braids. Don't just assume like your sections are going to just get smaller and bigger in a very funny way, because our head shape is not flat. So those curves and those contours are going to just at some point make your triangle wobble a little, whatever. In general, the hairstyle should be triangular. Like, if you can get perfect triangles 80% of the hair, I feel like you've tried. I got triangles up to 80% and I felt like I tried. Okay, I didn't film that section, but as I told you, I didn't continue all the way from the left to the right. When I walked in from the left or from the right to an extent, I started from the left too and came in to the middle of the head, and that was where I now had some triangles looking smaller than my regular sections, and that was fine. So again, I am starting from her face. I make the triangles moving inwards. I would go over to the other end, make the triangle moving towards the center of her head, and then in the center of her head I would figure out whatever is going to happen. And in my experience, I am telling you, the triangles got tinier at that section, and I think that was what even made my one pack of braiding hair to not be enough. The triangle is going to control the hairstyle at some point. I think it's just because of the shape of the head. I have not seen any tutorial where people actually showed step by step in like real time, no editing of anything, because somewhere along the line the triangle is going to get wobbly. You're not going to see that in people's tutorial, but I am telling you, just get the whole idea in general and you are fine. If you're looking for that perfection, I didn't see any. I was watching people's tutorial like a hawk. I wanted to see, because I have done this thing before and messed it up. Then when I had the opportunity to redo it again, I made sure, I was like, I'm going to watch all the YouTube videos that I can on this to just see if there are people that make this thing perfectly without any funny looking triangle. I did not see, especially if they are small. If the triangles are bigger, then it's easy to just, I think it's easier when they are bigger than when you have lots of triangles to deal with. So you can see the middle part of her head, the triangles, some of them are tinier than my regular size. Please ignore the blunt end. We trimmed her hair, not just trimming, we chopped off a lot of her damaged ends, and it now made the end of the hair very choppy, very blocky. So tucking it in was another different story altogether, but we tried and did the best we can do, because we are humans. And I'm almost done. At some point, if this triangle confused me, I had to like stop and move away and come back and look at it from different angles, and then I came and finished it up. But last, I would say I got up to 85% of the triangles right, and the only place that was choppy a little bit was towards the back, like the middle of the head, towards the back, just right underneath where my wristwatch is, that area. That's where I had like tiny looking triangles that were trying to, or any confusion that happened there, but it wasn't much. So I hope with this tutorial you can make your triangle braids knowing what to expect realistically, realistic expectations. have been given to you in this tutorial. If you appreciate this, please leave a thumbs up for me. Leave a comment when you are done with your hair and you can relate to any of these challenges and experiences I mentioned. Then please come and tell me. I am Chi Diaries on Instagram. Also, you can just send me a DM, send me a picture. I will share it on my community tab for others to see what happened, so that everybody will be encouraged and we all do better. Yes, because if I can do it like this and I tell you exactly my mistakes, I believe you will do better. And over time, all of us trying to learn are going to be perfect. We're going to be perfect because we are sharing our knowledge and doing well. So guys, I really appreciate your time here. If you want to, I remade this video, not remake. I also using the same footage but focusing on reviewing this braiding hair because it's quite new in my country and people are curious to know how to handle it. I will link that video in the description bar if you want to know the challenges I went through, the realistic expectation using this braiding hair. Watch it at the end of this one. Bye babe.